Give him his fucking vig in person.
Tell him to go himself for his $200K.
Tony Soprano wasn't rich. In fact, his finances were closer to a struggling lawyer than a mafia kingpin.
He's a rich man.
I'd say under 6.
After assets, I'd say under 6. With that single line, Hesh dangles one of the most tantalizing little puzzles in The Sopranos. Just how much was Tony actually worth? 6 million? 600,000? $600 and some frequent gambler's points at the bada bing? The debate rages endlessly.
Money goes in one hand and right out the other. The more he makes, the more he spends.
But the reality, as always with Tony, is less about the number and more about the meaning. Let's begin with the obvious. If the man had $6 million in liquid cash,
Yeah, I need a bridge loan, if you could. $200K.
he wouldn't be skulking around asking Hesh for a $200,000 bridge loan like some broke contractor waiting for a check to clear. Wealthy men, actual wealthy men, do not beg favors from loan sharks they supposedly outrank. They leverage investments, call their bankers, or in Tony's case, phone the Russian offshore vaults.
I lost the 1 o'clock game by a field goal. Was a pickup. Then the 4 o'clock game, I'm chasing the money.
Instead, he whines, he dodges, he delays, and he humiliates himself over sums that, for a genuine millionaire, would have been petty cash. That's not the posture of a tycoon. That's the posture of a man cash poor, asset rich, and habitually irresponsible. Now, 600,000 liquid. That makes sense. For a mob boss in the twilight years of the American Mafia, it's not impressive, but it is believable. Cash in hand, gone almost as quickly as it arrives.
AJ, and also an equitable distribution of our assets.
Hesh wasn't talking about net worth or long-term investments. He was talking about money you could actually grab on a Tuesday afternoon to cover a debt, pay off a captain, or gamble away at the track. In that sense, $600,000 fits Tony like one of his custom suits. Stretched at the seams, threadbare by the end, and badly in need of replacement. Consider his spending habits. The man hemorrhages money like a municipal sewer line. Boats, cars, watches, vacations, and the occasional mistress to keep supplied with designer luggage.
Who stole, Tony? Who, me?
My own wife, 40 grand, from the bird feeder.
He buys Carmela a mansion-sized bird feeder that costs more than most people's cars, then rages like a suburban dad when she dares to dip into the emergency fund.
This is like a $15,000 watch, Tony. I can't take this.
He gifts Brian a $50,000 Patek Philippe as casually as if it were a box of cannolis, then screams bloody murder over a few missing casino chips. He is the poster child of the nouveau riche who insists on living like a Rockefeller,
There's no cash in his house.
while keeping the financial planning skills of a teenager. And yet, the argument for $6 million persists. Why? Because people can't fathom that a man with Tony's title could possibly be so broke. But let's face it, he's not John Gotti, reigning in the heyday of the New York Mafia, raking in $10 million a year.
You two ran North Jersey.
Tony runs the New Jersey branch office of a crumbling criminal empire.
Because of Rico.
In an era when RICO indictments and wiretaps have gutted the business. He's not one of the 5 families. He's barely one of the 5 most solvent members of his own crew. The show makes this painfully clear.
Fucking Vito, through sheer hard work, turned himself into my best earner. I don't even know if I'd have the new boat without.
Vito, before his spectacular exit, was funneling 3 times the income Tony's other captains provided. Carlo refuses to step into Vito's lucrative niche.
John's in the cancer ward.
John Sacramone ends up in prison, and Tony finds himself forced into negotiations with Phil Leotardo, a man who treats nickels like manhole covers.
Between the joint fitters and the carpenters, those envelopes.
Cash flow dries up, expenses remain extravagant, and Tony's solution is not austerity, but denial. He keeps spending like the golden days of Season 3 never ended, while his captains underreport earnings and his gambling addiction spirals.
We don't have that kind of money. We contribute.
The result is a boss who looks more like a desperate debtor than a don. Then there's Slava, the Russian banker of last resort.
It's 200 here.
Okay.
Tony does stash money overseas, bags of cash handed over with a grunt and a, "There's 200 in here."
Good.
Then add 2 points every week till I'm paid in fucking full.
The Russians, unlike Polly Walnuts, don't bother to count every dollar or complain about the vig. Slava tucks it away, no questions asked, and likely skims his 15% for the privilege.
What? I got a meeting with Slava.
This isn't a scam. If Slava ever crossed Tony, his body would be floating off Brighton Beach by sunrise. No, this is business, and Tony treats those funds as untouchable.
Same drill. To Isle of Man, 4 days, clean as whistle.
Money in Geneva, or the Isle of Man, or wherever Slava's clean as a whistle accounts reside, isn't walking around money. It's insurance. The family's money if he's pinched, killed, or suddenly forced to relocate somewhere with fewer FBI cameras.
Growth.
The money stays where it is. With what's going on in the world today?
So, was Tony lying to Carmela about those overseas accounts when she pressed him on estate planning? Of course he was. But with Tony, lies always come seasoned with a sprinkling of truth. The accounts exist, but he'll never reveal the numbers, because that would expose just how precarious their finances really are. If he were truly flush, Carmela wouldn't be circling like a vulture, terrified that one day she'll be left penniless when the Fed seize everything.
That didn't stop him from busting my fucking balls because I owe him some money.
And Tony wouldn't be making humiliating loans from Hesh when a simple call to Slava could solve the problem. The writers deliberately left this murky, of course.
3.2 mil.
Numbers are tossed around inconsistently. $3 million boats that clearly cost a fraction of that. Gifts and down payments that contradict his supposed liquidity, and scenes that suggest both affluence and desperation. To analyze the exact figures is almost missing the point.
I find I have to be the sad clown.
The show is about decline. The erosion of power, of families, of institutions, and yes, of bank balances. Tony is not meant to be a criminal mastermind quietly amassing a secret fortune.
I'm here with my non-shellfish eating friend, and I gotta tell you something.
He is meant to be the quintessential American consumer, burning through cash as quickly as it comes in, forever living beyond his means, forever worried about bills despite an income others would kill for. 6 million? That's respectable wealth. 600,000? That's upper middle class lawyer with a coke problem wealth. Which sounds more like Tony.
Yeah, about, 18?
The man who gambles away tens of thousands in a night explodes over Carmela spending 40 grand.
Give him his fucking vig in person.
Tell him to go fuck himself for his 200K.
And terrorizes Hesh over a $200,000 debt while flaunting a new boat? Clearly the latter. Tony is no mogul. He's a reckless spender in silk shirts. A man forever mistaking his gaudy assets for financial security. A boss whose empire is built on sand. And therein lies the genius. The Sopranos never presented mob life as a gilded road to endless riches. It presented it as a grind. 80 hours of scheming to avoid 40 hours of honest work. The men risk prison, death, and their family's safety for what?
You're liking the Escalade? I can't keep them on the lot.
I love it.
A couple of cars, a boat, a watch, a McMansion in North Caldwell. The same trinkets their neighbors in legitimate finance buy without having to murder anyone. It's a life of constant risk for middling reward. And Tony embodies that tragicomic contradiction to the last breath of the series. So yes, Hesh was right. Tony's liquid worth was under $600,000, not $6 million. A sum substantial enough to dazzle the average suburbanite, but pitifully small for a man supposedly running North Jersey's premier criminal syndicate. It's the perfect symbol of Tony's life. A man who rules nothing, spends everything, and dies, whether literally or metaphorically, in debt.
The house is in my name, not the boat.
Tony was always short on cash, but subscribing here won't cost you a cent. Honest feedback. Does the voiceover fit the content, or should I improve it?